How many of you believe that having too much money leads to greed, or that it's greedy to have a lot of money? How many of you associate money with greed? Put your hand up high if you do, sorry. And how many of you are afraid that if you get too much money, that it will make you greedy? Couple. How many of you actually have a negative, those are already negative connotations of money, but how many of you have other negative connotations to do with money? You don't trust people who have money. Let's say you don't even know them, but because they're rich, you don't trust them. Anybody? Put your hand up. A couple. Okay, you don't trust people with money. How many actually are totally okay with making money and doing what they love? You're okay with it, you do it, you love what you do. That is fantastic. Well done. That's really, really good. That's fantastic. So, many people in this world have a really, really weird relationship with money. And there's two things, I call it two sides of the same coin. And it is a really odd relationship. You have a whole lot of people that put money ahead of everything else. Like everything else. They put it ahead of health and well-being. It's like, we got to make more money, so let's compromise on everybody's health. And so, you know, you've got the pollution in the air because industrialization is more important. You've got deceitful advertising that makes you feel you need stuff you don't need because making money is more important. You've got the big pharmaceutical companies who raise their prices just because they can as soon as people are dependent on their products. And so they put money above everything else. This is what causes us to hate or dislike or distrust money and people with money. It creates this kind of hostility towards money. And when there are people who are good and kind, who make money and distributing it in the right way and allowing it to circulate, we may mistrust them just because they have a relationship with money that we don't. So many of us put everybody who is making money in the same basket. We put the people who are the big, let's say the greedy pharmaceuticals or the snake oil tradesmen, or the people who put money over and above everything else, in the same basket as people who do not put money over and above everything else, who actually put people over and above everything else, but make good money and are able to do that. But just because they're being seen as making good money, we tend to lump them in that same basket. Can anyone see that happening? And because we lump them in that same basket, a lot of people whose intention is to make money to help other people or to channel it or to keep it in the flow, to be a channel for money, struggle with making money or accepting money from people because they are afraid of being seen as someone who is only interested in the money. Does anyone relate to that? How many of you are afraid or feel guilty making money even though you know that you need the money to survive, to thrive, and to help other people, and you feel guilty making money? Yeah, so this is the kind of paradox that we deal with, because you need to make money in order to help other people. So greed, for example, comes from fear. It comes from a fear of not having enough. And the people who are hoarding money and the people who are pushing money away and believing that money is bad are actually two sides of the same coin. And the reason I say that is because both camps believe that money is limited. The people who hoard money and put money above everything else, who feel that even people can be sacrificed for the sake of money. Health can be sacrificed. Other people's health can be sacrificed because I need to make more money, so I got to put more toxins in this food just to make it cheaper. They're doing that because they think there's not enough money and they have to hoard more and make more. The same people who are afraid to receive money, who have a negative judgment and push money away, also believe that there's not enough money to go around. That's why they do that. In actuality, if you think of money as something that is unlimited, there is no shortage of money in and of itself. And this is proven over and over again. Just look at inflation. Look how many people keep coming into the planet and how much inflation goes up and how many homes are being bought. And yet people at Wall Street are getting richer and richer. And I know you feel there's also a lot of poor people. And the poor people are there because of the imbalance of the world, because the greedy people are hoarding it. But the empathic people rejecting money and feeling guilty for having any is not going to help the poor people. In fact, the only way you can help the poor people is by getting out there and allowing yourself to receive money and perceiving money differently. Money in and of itself is neither good nor bad, neither positive or negative. It's the people behind it. It's the people who handle it and how they handle it. It's just like anything else, like fire. Fire is neither good or bad, but it can be used for bad, it can be used for good. It's as simple as that. What do you want to use it for? That's the question. And what I tend to do is I tend to back up people or purchase from people who use their money for good. And for me, money is not my priority. My relationship with my loved ones, my health and well-being and so on is my priority. But money comes in order to help me maintain all that, and I have to keep it circulating. But so here's how I view money, and this is what really, really shifted it for me, which is what I realized again when I was on the other side. Money is the universe's way of showing me approval. And it's as simple as that, approval. So now when you think of that money is the universe's way of showing me approval, I know you have many questions. What about all the people who are greedy and who hoard money and so on? Is the universe approving of them? No, I want you to think of it this way, that when you lack self-love and lack self-esteem, everything you do it for approval. And it's the same with the people that hoard money. They lack that trust, that money, that there's enough to go around. They don't have to hoard it. And because they lack that trust that the universe will give them and provide them with whatever they need, as long as they're following their purpose, as long as they're listening to their 80%, as long as they're loving themselves, they're listening to their higher guidance, the universe will provide them with what they need. And if you have a bigger purpose, where your money reaches more people, the universe will provide you with more. But when you are somebody, think of someone who is desperate for approval. That is the same as greed, someone who's desperate for money that I don't need. And imagine someone who is a people pleaser, a doormat, and all they want, everything they do, they sacrifice themselves. They sacrifice their purpose. They sacrifice their own needs just to get approval from other people. That is what people who hoard money do. They will work for long hours and get stressed out and bear with the stress because they need that approval. They need it, and that for them, money comes in the form of approval. Whereas when you're healthy, when you're self-fulfilled, you will get whatever approval you need for you to keep going in the way you're going. So think of money as the universe's way of giving you approval. And when you are being yourself, the universe will give you approval. When you are following your purpose, the universe will give you approval. And you welcome that approval. When you're being yourself and somebody loves you, it means so much more than when you're being a people pleaser and someone gives you approval, doesn't it? So when you pursue the money for the sake of money, it's like pursuing the approval because you need the approval. Which is totally different from getting approval from being yourself. Does that sort of make sense now? Does that clarify it? So now, when you are being yourself, and you are receiving reward in the form of money or whatever other rewards, gifts, money, gifts that help you on your path, accept it. Accept it without guilt, because it's the universe's way of giving you approval. More than approval, I'm going to change that. It's the universe's way of showing it loves you. It's the universe's way of showing that it loves you. Because what you want is love, not approval. And many of you stay in relationships or stay in communities, marinate. You stay in that marinade because you're afraid of their disapproval. You may have their approval, but you don't have their love. What you want is love. And love can only come when you are being yourself. Love is only love when someone loves you unconditionally for who you are. If you're afraid of being who you are, because you're afraid of losing their love, then it's not love, it's approval. And you're afraid of losing their approval. So, thank you.